Hey guys, my name's Jono. About 4 years ago, I started a videography hustle with my best friend, Jason. At the time, I was working as a full-time lawyer in the corporate world, and my best friend Jason was studying in university at law school. Since then, we've managed to turn that little videography side hustle into a multi-six-figure business and have worked with countless number of clients, generating over $600,000 in revenue over the last 4 to 5 years. But before we got to that point, we had to get our first client. And to be frank with you, getting that first client is the hardest because you are literally starting from scratch. You have no experience, no skills, and no portfolio. Trust me, I know how it feels because we were in the exact same shoes as you back in 2019. And so in this video, we're gonna be talking about how to get your first videography client as a complete beginner. If I was to rewind the clock 5 years and go back to that point in 2019 when I bought my first camera, had no ideas how to create videos, and had no client experience, these are the 3 steps that I would focus on to get my first client. Step 1 is to start with family and friends. Like I mentioned before, as a complete beginner, you're starting with no experience, no skills, and no portfolio. So for a complete stranger, it's incredibly risky for them to work with you. That's why starting with friends and family, people who already know, like, and trust you is the best place to get started. You can be honest with them and tell them, hey, I'm just starting out with videography and still trying to learn, and I just want to get some practice in and get real life client experience as soon as possible. And oftentimes, if they're nice, our family and friends are way more likely to help you out compared to a complete stranger. In 2019, when we first bought our camera and just got started with our videography journey, as I mentioned before, I was working as a lawyer in the corporate world. And one day a colleague of mine came into the office and told us about a new side hustle she was working on. She was launching an e-commerce business selling adjustable women's underwear. And so after talking to her a little bit about the brand, she told me how she was looking to launch a new website and a social media, but she was struggling to get high quality content of the product. Because I just bought my first camera, I sensed an opportunity to not only add value to my colleague, but also see it as a chance to also improve my photography and videography skills. I offered to actually take a few photos of the product for her over the weekend for free. And that weekend, I actually bought some white cardboard, some rose petals to set up a nice looking backdrop and took a few photos of the product. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, my exposure settings were on automatic. I wasn't even using manual, but for some reason, my colleague loved the photos. She loved them so much that she actually wanted to hire me to do a lifestyle location shoot where she'd bring in real models to pose with the product. Just the mere thought of having to do a shoot with models scared the crap out of me at the time. I remember feeling my heart just sink a little bit just from the anxiety, but I knew that it was a great chance to push myself creatively, get outside my comfort zone, and improve my photography and videography skills. So I said yes to this shoot, and one weekend we organized this whole day shoot at a luxury mansion with these 2 models, and I had a ton of fun on that day. And the photos actually turned out great. My colleague loved them and paid me $300 in cash on the day. And that was technically my first paid gig. And the great thing was I managed to make this $300 with no portfolio, no skill set at the time, and no experience. And that's the power of starting with your existing network, people that already know you. So people like your family, friends, colleagues at work, or people that you might know at community organizations. Like, do you play in a sporting team or do you go to church? These are great places to start looking for opportunities where you can add value as a videographer because there's already that element of trust there. You can be honest with people, tell them you're just getting started and you want to get some practice in. And if you actually add value to them like what I did with my colleague, oftentimes they're even going to be willing to pay you. Step 2 is to get your first 3 beta clients. What I mean by this is you work with 3 clients for free in order to test your service and get real life client feedback. Because what separates a video hobbyist, someone who creates videos just for fun, and there's nothing wrong with that, but what separates the hobbyist from the professionals, people who are actually paying money for your videos, is the fact that the pros have real life client experience. And so the quicker you can get real life client experience, the quicker you can make that transition from hobbyist to pro. Practicing creating videos with family and friends or watching YouTube tutorials is great for learning, but trust me, you will improve so much quicker by putting yourself out there and doing a real client shoot. Not only are you going to be able to significantly improve your content creation skills, but you're also going to be able to develop a lot of invaluable soft skills, like learning how to communicate with clients, how to run a shoot from start to finish. All these skills you can only learn by putting yourself out there and getting real life experience. Back in 2019, when we were starting as beginners, we were really lucky to be able to find a mentor. He brought us under his wing and we were able to shadow him on a real client shoot. And after seeing him do it, it gave us the confidence to start reaching out to local businesses in our area and organizing shoots of our own. And so that's exactly what I did. Starting in August 2019, I started up a new Instagram page for my videography work, uploaded a professional looking photo and presented myself as a videographer. I then uploaded a few home videos that I created with family and friends just to demonstrate to people that I could produce a somewhat decent level of content. And then I used that account to reach out to local businesses in our area, offering to do free portfolio shoots. Because Jason and I actually had a cooking channel at the time on YouTube where we were teaching people our favorite recipes, we really wanted to initially attract clients in the food and restaurant industry because we just loved making food content. And we also love trying out all the different dishes. So after work on the bus home every day, I'd use that Instagram account and DM 5 to 10 local businesses in our area. And that's how we actually managed to secure our first 3 beta clients. The first one was a Japanese Korean fusion restaurant, which had just recently opened in our local area. And I noticed that they'd just started their Instagram page. It was looking pretty bare at the time. And I thought, hey, this is a great chance for us to get in there, produce some professional looking content and get their page kickstarted. The second one was a pretty well-known pizza restaurant in our area. It had actually won a few awards. The third one was an Indonesian styled bowls eatery. By the way, a lot of the templates that we're showing throughout this video actually come from our 6-figure filmmaker starter kit, which basically breaks down our journey of how we went from complete beginners to being able to grow, firstly a videography side hustle and turning that into a 6-figure business. So go check that out in the description box down below if you're interested. And after working with just those 3 beta clients, our transformation was massive. Like we became so much more confident with things like our camera settings, learning how to use light, whether it was artificial light or natural light, to create a more flattering image, learning how to communicate and manage client expectations, and also how to run a shoot from start to finish. These skills would have taken us years to learn if we had just stayed at home, watched YouTube videos, and just procrastinate on what camera equipment we needed to buy next. We took our $500 Canon 200D and our kit lens, and we worked with these 3 clients. And I know a lot of beginners out there, they have way better equipment and it's just sitting on their shelves collecting dust. Just start with whatever equipment that you have already and get experience with those first 3 beta clients. Trust me, you're gonna grow so much more as a beginner videographer. And all of a sudden, just from working with 3 beta clients, we had gone from complete beginners with no portfolio, no experience and no skills to all of a sudden having a pretty high quality portfolio that we could showcase on Instagram in the food and restaurant industry. And this would have never have happened if we didn't prioritize on getting our first 3 beta clients and getting that client experience under our belt as quickly as possible. Now, before we move on to the third and final step, I just want to quickly share with you guys an update on what's been happening behind the scenes on this channel. As many of you guys know, earlier this year, we released our one-on-one coaching program. And since then, we've managed to work with some amazing people. It's been incredibly fulfilling seeing our students achieve amazing transformations for themselves. And most importantly, being able to call a lot of you guys good friends of ours now. And through that process of getting to know a lot of you guys on a one-on-one basis, we've gotten a really good understanding of some of the biggest struggles that you guys are going through in your journey as beginner videographers. And so over the coming months, we're actually in the process of packaging up all the key topics and learnings from our one-on-one coaching program and putting it into an online course called the Filmmaker Accelerator. It's going to be launching hopefully in the next month or 2, and we're actually looking for 10 beta testers. These 10 beta testers are going to be getting free access to the course in exchange for some real life feedback, because we are completely obsessed with trying to create a product that's going to be incredibly valuable for our audience. And so if you are interested in being a beta tester for this upcoming course, I'll leave an application link in the description box down below. Step 3 is to show your work online. If you never show your work, people won't know about you. And so the more that you show your work, the more opportunities you will attract. So back when we were beginners, we started reaching out to local businesses in our area, offering to do free portfolio shoots starting from August 2019. And we did that for a 3-month period up until November 2019. And from those free portfolio shoots, we started producing a body of content that we could then showcase online through social media. We took the content that we produced from those free portfolio shoots and started uploading them every week onto the Instagram page that I had created, and we put relevant hashtags so that people could actually find us. And that is exactly how we actually managed to attract our first 3 clients. The first client, which I've talked about quite often on this channel, was the event manager who was organizing a 3-day Caribbean party. He was looking for a videographer to cover the event, so he actively went onto Instagram, searched up Sydney videographer, came across one of our videos, saw our page and liked the quality of our work, and decided to send us a DM asking for a quote. The second client was a local social media marketing agency who was looking for videographers to work with to produce content for their own clients. And the third was a podcast agency who was looking for a videographer to record the podcast productions that they were doing for their clients. And all 3 of those clients would have never even known about us if we didn't showcase our work online. A lot of beginners, including us when we first got started, are reluctant to upload their content because they feel like the quality is not good enough compared to a lot of the more established videographers out there. And that's a completely natural feeling to fall into the comparison trap. But what I would say is content quality is oftentimes quite subjective, and I'd say just let the market decide what is actually good enough. The quality of our initial content when we first started as beginners is nowhere near the level of content that we can produce nowadays. But clients at the time who saw our work still thought it was good enough for them at the time and was willing to pay us for it. So don't compare your day 1 content to someone's day 1000, because your day 1 content might still be good enough for the right person. Don't deny those clients the opportunity to stumble across your portfolio and work with you. What I also liked about showing our work from the very beginning is that you're kind of documenting your progress, and it's really nice after a few years to look back to see your initial videos and recognize just how far you've actually come. So if I was a beginner videographer starting from scratch again with no portfolio, no experience and no skills, these are the 3 steps that I would focus on. Start with family and friends, get your first 3 beta clients as soon as possible, and show your work online. If you ignore the noise, ignore the information overload, and just focus on these 3 key things as a beginner, you're going to be attracting your first paying client in no time. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys gained some value and hopefully some clarity from this video, because I know as a beginner myself, there was just so much information out there when I first started. I just really wanted to know what were the most important things to actually focus on to get to my goals quicker. And hopefully this video does that for you guys. Hit the like button, comment down below, we'd love to hear from you, and hit the subscribe button to join our amazing community and get content just like this. Check out our monthly newsletter, The Creative Club, where we share more personal insights and stories around our journey. Link in the description box down below. And that's it from me guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.